Is a stock that Warren Buffett keeps buying and buying and buying, and for the last, I should say, 4 to 6 weeks, actually 4 weeks or 6 weeks, yeah, 4 to 6 weeks, he has been aggressively buying this stock, and whenever Warren Buffett buys a stock, you want to pay attention to because, I mean, the guy is not perfect, but he's one of the smartest, one of the most successful investors in the whole world when it comes to picking stocks. So it turns out that this stock, which I'm going to share with you in a second here, Occidental Petroleum, is Houston-based company that is producing oil and gas. And as many other companies back in 2020, they were in the brink, on the edge of fighting bankruptcy or, closing doors just because nobody was traveling, nobody was using oil, nobody was moving. So oil was kind of dead. But now the structure of this market, with supply being definitely not matching the current demand and the future demand. So it is a perfect storm for high prices to remain elevated. And by high prices, I don't necessarily mean $150 a share. I mean a barrel, or maybe 125, like 100, 105, maybe 110. Those are already high prices. But these companies have changed the way they do business. They manage their finances or they manage the balance sheet so that now they are more focused on returning capital to shareholders instead of the form of a dividend or in the form of buying back their own shares. So I guess these are the things that I've been seeing because I've been owning these stocks for the last 3 years now, and swing trading it. And Warren Buffett saw what we been seeing for the last 2 years, that our companies are definitely getting stronger and better, and that's why the guy has been buying it for the last, you can read here that he's been buying pretty much $122 million on top of what he already spent. So he's closing now to 20% stake in Occidental Petroleum Company, which is giving some rumors that he may take it private, like he may completely buy the whole company, which it has the money to do so. It has about $64 billion in cash at the beginning of this year. So this is something definitely in his card for him. And the good thing is, it gives you a hint into the oil sector or the future of the oil sector for the next 3 months, 6 months, but also the next 1 or 2 years, based on what I shared with you earlier. So I do believe that if you are somebody willing to make some quick gains or willing to invest for the next 2 years, these oil companies or some oil companies should definitely be on the radar because they're going to have the most profitable quarters in history this quarter. But the thing is, the price of the stocks of these companies are trading or behaving as if oil prices are less what they are trading now. Like if you look at the year to date, you can see that, or let's just say the last 6 months, the last 6 months, based on where we were at the highest, when oil was still sitting at, maybe the same levels at now, the hundreds. This was worth 74 or trading at 74, and the price target around here is, I think, $80 to $90 a share. So you still have a lot of money to be made. There's still a lot of money to be made here, and that's why I think, I'm convinced Warren Buffett and many other investors are seeing. And now that they are kind of accumulating, they're loading the boat because the time is coming when it's gonna be on. So you're gonna get paid twice. This is the very interesting thing about oil companies. You are getting paid and rewarded twice, with price appreciation, but also with passive income. And I shared with you many times, or a couple of times, that some of the oil stocks that I own in my portfolio, in my brokerage account, are paying me $500 minimum a month. And this is going to keep increasing. So the beginning of this year, it was 500. But as we got to Q2, it got bumped to 700. And it's going to continue to grow because all the money they're making, they are committed to return pretty much the whole thing to the shareholders. And that's why they're either buying back shares or giving dividends. Because by buying back shares, when shares are getting increased because the oil and gas sector is kind of like, a parrot right now from the market, it gives you that, confidence that the stock will not go below a certain level. And even if it does, the company will buy it back, maintaining that buying pressure alongside you holding those shares. So I strongly believe, this is something worth looking at, but you have to keep in mind that, hey, this sector, it's highly volatile because oil and energy is now being weaponized not only from Russia amidst this whole thing, but it's highly at the center of political games, especially with this current administration when it comes to the midterm, as we approach the midterm, etc., etc. So just heads up for you to be mindful of the high volatility that you can see here. These are stocks like, that could be up today 8% or 9%, maybe 15%, and be down 10% tomorrow on no news. All right. So it gives you that sense. But if you have the long-term view of an investor, and if you do your research, you're not actually investing in a stock, you're investing in a company. So it doesn't matter what is happening. The bottom line is, are they profitable? Are they paying me as an investor? And so far this year, and for the remainder of the next 2 years, I do believe none of the sector or none of the market outside of the oil market will give you those type of rewards.